Hey guys, so this is my first time-lapse, and I'm sorry if I can't do the voiceover thing. I'm not very used to doing it. I've done it in a few videos and I've practiced it a few times, but I don't really know how to do it. So if I don't make sense or if I stutter or all the things that occur with voiceovers, bear with me because, again, I'm very new at this. But yeah, that's kind of my little censorship/warning. So in the first episode of my sketchbooking series, I'm going to talk to you guys about why I do art, because I feel like this is a very important thing to start off with this series with. So let's get started. So what sort of started me doing art was I saw my mom drawing and I was drawing and I wasn't able to do it right, and I asked my mom for advice and she gave me a mini art lesson because she's an artist herself and I was 7 years old and could not draw a thing. All of my drawings looked creepy and weird. But that's sort of what started me, and after that I pretty much got it down and ended up getting really good at drawing and looking at things and all of that. I think one of the biggest reasons why art is really important to me is because I feel like it's a huge, insane amount of freedom of speech. And what I mean by that is, with art, you don't have any rules, there's no societal standards to kind of cover in it. You can literally create anything that comes out of your mind, and that's something that I really, really enjoy about art. Because with this world and how there's so many rules and things, it's really great to just break those through art. I also really just enjoy the escape that you really have from the world, because with art you can just literally draw your own world, you can make your own fantasy world, you can make anything really that you want to make and kind of escape and create your own world, which is something that I really like doing because my biggest thing and my biggest sort of inspiration is fantasy elements and the idea of escaping to somewhere else. I feel like we live in this world where you can't really escape the things that you need to do. Like, you've got all the things you try to procrastinate, but they just kind of eat up at you. And with art, you can kind of just escape those things and make your own world, and I really like that. Another thing was art always gave me a sort of confidence that I didn't have in other things. I was always below average in math and science and just anything that was very academically based. My brain just didn't work that way, and the one way my brain did work was creating. So things like writing and drawing and painting and everything just basically creative. I always had a lot of praise and compliments in those creative sort of classes, and so when I would go to math and get below average and get Fs and get very just failing grades and below average and just not great things out of those classes. So it was really nice to just have a place where I shined and had a very great time in. And yes, I am including a lot of different other art forms like writing and, just basically everything else too, because those were other things that I kind of succeeded in. So a story to sort of back all that up is one time in 5th grade, we all had to write short stories and personal narratives, and I ended up doing mine on the time that I made a cake on my living room floor when I was 2-3 years old. And it made a mess basically, and it was a very big disaster, and my mom was very upset. And in 5th grade, I wrote a story on it, and I remember my 5th grade teacher pulled me aside and told me that my story was her favorite, and she really loved the way I wrote it, and she told me that she really could see me being a writer when I was older. So it was the little things like that that really helped me to really push through school and just understand that, maybe this isn't for me, but art is. I don't know if any of you guys had these, but when I was younger in my elementary school classes, there were a lot of extra helping teachers where they just pulled kids out of classes and they took a small group who weren't as good as whatever subject it was, and they would teach it to them and kind of have this one-on-one or one little group sort of, helping teacher sort of time. And I had so many of those because I just wasn't good at anything, especially math. So I had a math teacher, and I was kind of a slower reader too, and I was just slow, and it was just, it was gross. And even now, throughout high school, I always went to the math lab, and I would ask my teacher if I could take my tests there, because I just took twice the amount of time that everyone else did. It took me 2 class periods to finish a math test because I was just so slow, and it took me so much longer to process those things. Even though when I was doing it, a lot of the time it didn't feel like it was actually going slow, but I was really slow. Another thing was art was always a very therapeutic process for me. It was a way to just escape and go into a sort of art mode. If any of you guys make art or do anything kind of creative or something like that, you know the feeling when you're just kind of in this weird zone, like it's a middle life sort of dreamlike state that you're in. And that's kind of where I enjoy being. And that state is very unstoppable. Like, I'll be editing for hours and I won't be able to stop because I don't want to escape from that sort of zone and that sort of productive state. And when I do leave from that state, it's so hard to get back into it because it's just such a powerful sort of thing. So then I end up procrastinating whatever I was doing before. So that's why my dad will always get mad at me. I'll be up really, really late and trying to finish whatever it is I want to finish, like editing or drawing or painting. And I won't be able to escape because I know that if I try to escape kind of doing whatever I need to do or going to bed or eating or whatever it is, that I won't be able to get into it as easy as I had before. It's also something I honestly suggest for anyone going through a hard time because it's a way to just, again, escape, and you're in a sort of a very meditative and peaceful state. And when people with mental health or people with anxiety or depression, it's a great way to just get away from all of that. And I remember last year I was kind of in a darker state, and art was the one way that I kind of was able to escape from all of that, and it was a great way for me to kind of have an outlet. What I really appreciated from it was that I could put out any emotion that I had on paper. I would do a lot of really depressing sort of artwork, and I know it's kind of like embarrassing to look at now, but I know then it was very just great to get it all out because at that time I didn't have like a lot of people to talk to, and I just had this feeling of needing to let it all out, and when I did it through art, and it was a great way to sort of let it all out without kind of holding it all into me. And it's always really hard to get away from your mind, especially when you're in sort of a darker state. It's really, your mind is always going, your mind is always thinking, and I remember when I went through this harder time, having art really helped me just get away, and I had kind of a little world to go to, and it was nice to not go to this world, but instead go to what I call art world. But yeah, those are some of the reasons why I really love doing art. I hope you guys find out your reasons. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It was really, really fun to film and really nice to sort of just open up to you guys and get kind of intimate. So leave me any suggestions of topics you want me to discuss in my next art video. I really had fun filming this for you guys, and I really hope to do more of these.